Trump, I might send Tomahawk missiles to Kiev if the war isn't resolved. Zelensky insists on air defense and long-range missiles. Donald Trump has stated that he might speak with Vladimir Putin and, if the conflict isn't resolved, authorize the shipment of Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. I might or might not send them, he said, calling the Tomahawks a new act of aggression if used against Russia. The U.S. president added that Kiev desperately needs Patriot systems and reported a good telephone conversation with Volodymyr Zelensky today. Zelensky spoke with Trump for the second time in 2 days and also spoke with Emmanuel Macron. Kiev is demanding more air defenses and long-range missiles, with a particular focus on capabilities capable of striking deep into Russian territory. According to Axios, the phone call, which lasted about 30 minutes, discussed the possibility of supplying Tomahawks to Ukraine. For Kiev, even possession alone could increase pressure on Moscow to negotiate. Trump said he had almost made a decision on selling Tomahawks to NATO allies so they could be transferred to Kiev, specifying that he wanted to know their intended uses before authorizing the supplies. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in September, Zelensky reiterated the request. The possibility remains dependent on the progress of the conflict and the guarantees of use. The Financial Times reports that since mid-summer, U.S. intelligence has intensified its support for Ukrainian attacks against Russian energy infrastructure, including refineries far from the front lines. These strikes have contributed to rising domestic energy prices in Russia, prompting Moscow to limit diesel exports and import fuel. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov called the Tomahawks an important weapon in conventional or nuclear configuration, but maintained that they would not change the situation on the front lines. Moscow claims it is ready for a peaceful solution, accusing the Europeans and Kiev of reluctance to negotiate, while acknowledging that Trump is also speaking of the need to sit down at the table. On the ground, Russia is intensifying operations in Donbass. Ukrainian authorities have ordered evacuations in some areas of Kramatorsk, with invading forces reportedly within 20 kilometers. With Macron, Zelensky discussed strengthening air defense and missile defense, as well as expanding the PURL initiative, NATO countries purchasing U.S. weapons for Ukraine. Kiev is insisting on infrastructure resilience, energy resilience, and long-range capabilities to contain Russian strikes. A Ukrainian delegation led by Cabinet Chief Andriy Yermak and Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko is expected in Washington for talks on security cooperation and sanctions against Russia. The White House is evaluating the timing, modalities, and conditions for possible deliveries of Tomahawks and additional Patriots in coordination with European allies.